All right, great to see everybody. Hopefully things are working well. Chrispy Galactic, you were here super duper early. Great to see you as well, Charles Latora, William Arends, Tolemykus, Gamers with Coffee, Ashley, Harro, Bosma, Brian R. Smith. Did I miss anybody? Oh, and Eric Goble. Yeah, great to see you. I'm going to pop on, like I said, right off the bat. I like to get going here. I'll put on the narrative here, and we can start from there. All right, hold on here. Present. Yeah, it's well, as per usual, there's a ton of stuff to talk about. Oops, hold on here. What am I doing? Stop the screen. Ah, there we go. Still had the other thing activated. Hopefully you guys can see that. Good. All right, so yeah, welcome everyone. As per usual, the live stream fact checker. Yep. There's a ton of stuff to go over that I kind of muddled. Like I muddled some battles last week, and there was one place I thought that was in North Africa. It's actually in Mesopotamia, that type of stuff. So I thought that would be, I'm kind of liking this thing. And like I said before, if you guys catch me on stuff, please let me know, like pop it up. I don't want people to start thinking, whatever I say is like facts, all the time and stuff like that. Please let me know if you've been playing any new World War I related games. I could pop them into the list. Zoe Dufour came up with a good idea for Big Bertha Bingo on how to do it. So what we're going to do, I hope, if this makes any sense for you guys, because she felt, she was like, is there any way like maybe we could use the bingo cards like when we get points or whatever, and we can put those points towards us for Who or What Am I in World War I, which I also am going to have changed. In a minute, it's no longer going to be called History Heroes. Due to the fact that I realized it's not because we're not using the cards anymore. It was just due to the fact that some of the things that I'm picking are no longer really heroes, like, barbed wire or poison gas or, that type of stuff. So I was like, maybe, or flamethrower. I was like, okay, maybe we should, switch it up. So, but anyways, I thought maybe that would, because she was like, I feel intimidated about putting in a clue or guessing or something, because she's like, I don't want to feel like an idiot. And I was like, okay, well, it's unfortunate you feel that way. Like, I don't want her to feel that way, obviously, or anybody. It's like, just that's why I was like, even if you're incorrect, she does like that as well. I was happy about that. I think I've mentioned before, it's kind of always like, saying you're wrong. It always sounds like, geez, like, you're kind of like, and you're trying to get people to guess things and you go, you're wrong. So I was like, okay, you were incorrect. Sounds a bit better. So we'll go that way. Yeah, I'd like to hand out some Big Bertha bingo cards, and that's the way to go. So if you are attending kind of thing and your number pops up, you'll get a point. And then I was thinking, if you do a bingo, you'll get 6 points, like you whatever, and we'll just put it towards the thing. I hope that helps. So yeah, it'll be now called Who or What Am I in World War I rather than the other stuff. We're just going to go that I put in. Yep. So there it is. I think I'm doing the points right. Good morning, Meandering. Mike. Great to see you. I'm feeling okay. Feel like an idiot. I'm okay. Feel like an idiot. Yes. Anyway, so here we go. I think I did the points right. So that's what you get for when you guess. You put in guesses. You're going to get points, even if you are incorrect. Let's see here. Yep. So I've changed. Hopefully we'll get to them. The pinup gal and guy of the week, Miss Kathleen Burke Hale. She just been popping up repeatedly in the past couple of weeks in the newspaper article. So I thought, okay, I better go and take a bit more, find out a bit more about her. She ended up writing a book called The White Road to Verdun. I think she was they said the very first woman in Verdun during that time. So I was like, wow, this sounds really interesting. And then Second Lieutenant Vivian Charles Wolfe Sutton, he's got an interesting backstory as well. Maybe we'll get to him. William Arends, thank you for putting in and even trying, going the extra mile. Like you were saying, the normal database was down. So you went and, used some ingenuity and went and found some other stuff. Thank you so much. I haven't looked at it yet. I just did a super duper ultra quick spell check. Unfortunately, my software that I'm using is trying to milk me for more money. And it's like, so I was like, oh, please use the spell checker AI. And I'm like, I can't I'm just like, you're just, drives me up the tree when people do stuff like that. These are all the other things I would like to talk about, like current events wise. Bad news and good news about the interview with Paul Hederer and 1916 Prelude to Blitzkrieg. We have to reschedule for next week, and I don't know when it's going to happen. Paul Hederer's got other commitments for a while, so he emailed me earlier in the week and says, "Is that okay?" And I said, "Don't worry. You're going to get an hour devoted to your game, and no worries there. Like, we're going to try to make you as welcome as possible and whatnot." And I actually said in an odd way, if it gets pushed to June, maybe we can use the Brusilov offensive as part of it, since it obviously had sway for Romania deciding to pull the trigger when they did, kind of thing. He also did post, I noticed it this morning, the new playtest report in BGG. I guess his second kick at the can playtesting wise with the new rules for the Transylvania scenario. Looks pretty darn good. Corvinus Wargaming's live painting shows. I watched one earlier in the week, and I was like, oh, I mean, obviously I want to support us. And holy moly, just while he's painting, it's just this person's got a ton of information. And later on in the show, his show, he's like, gee, I wonder if people would be interested, maybe if, because he's got a lot of experience on how to do research. And he's like, I'm working on my PhD right now, and I've got to go through something like 60 books, and there's no way I can read 60 books cover to cover. And, and he was like, maybe I can, show techniques and whatnot and so on and so forth. And I was like, there are so many people on the Saturday show here that would be interested in that. It's not funny as far as I'm concerned. So I was like, please, I hope you do something like that. Oh my gosh, it's been ridiculous that we've not got to this is like 2 weeks ago I wanted to talk about this, or 3 weeks ago, the National World War I Museum and Memorial. Hold on. And the image of the month. The national, and there's still even more news, well, due to the fact that I wanted to talk about 3 weeks ago. Harro Bosma is getting the Kings and Kaisers game map, and I sent you a message there, Harro Bosma, yesterday saying you're a flippin' genius. When I took more and more look of what you want to do with the map, like you were saying, okay, I'm going to use it like for Axis and Allies style game. You may just use it with the Axis, like play Axis and Allies on it, kind of thing. I want to go hopefully we'll take a look at that map again. I didn't do it, but they did send me an email, the company, saying, hey, it's in your cart. Do you want it? I'm like, well, I can't afford it right now, but I love the look of the map. It's really, really nice. I'm starting to think, it could have some potential for other stuff. Rob Thompson, remember, we went to his, virtually, we went to his commemorative memorial there last summer. My God, it's freaking me out that now we're now turning around in a year. It's amazing. Harold Bosma says, yes, but I saw the cards are sold out. Anyways, the Western Front Association has released a one-off free magazine, so you don't have to be a member or whatever. And it's called All Bar the Shouting. It's about 60-something pages, and I haven't popped the link, the sources and links specific for this episode right now, because if I did that, you would figure out pretty darn quick who or what am I in World War I. So I'm not going to do that. But after the show, I'll pop them in, so you guys can go and get the PDF. I think I've told you before, Rob Thompson is if you're into logistics and you like trains, and you also like enthusiastic historians that are able to speak amazingly well, go to his stuff. He's got a ton of, well, I've got like my own little I think even the Western Front Association has their own little Rob Thompson playlist, but I've got my own little thing. The fascism lecture wasn't called that. It was actually post, and I wasn't yet. Remember the Great War snob in me. The World War I Historical Association had a lecture last Saturday. I wasn't going to attend it. 5 minutes in, I was like, you know what? These guys don't get a lot of attention, really. They don't get a lot of support. Like, there was only like 20 of us in attending, versus the one that I saw Monday night. There was over 300 of us for the Western Front Association one on Lance versus Lance cavalry in the Battle of Mons, I do believe. It's only been a week, and it feels like it's been ages ago. This one was about the French and German response to the rise of fascism after World War I. Probably one of the best lectures I've ever got to attend. It was just absolutely stunning. They answered one of my questions. It was unanimous. It was about, I wanted to know what they thought about what von Bethmann Holweg would have thought about the rise of fascism in his country. And every single one of them was pegged him as a pacifist. So I was like, I was just like, wow, this was fantastic to listen to. She brought up J'accuse, and I put in movies because it's done in 1919 originally by Abel Gance. I think that's how you pronounce him. He's a French director. He was also a war vet. He did it in 1919. He did a remake in 1938. I just got the DVD this week. I was going to watch it last night. I was like, no, it's probably going to screw my head up too much. It looks like potentially it could be maybe the very first zombie movie that was ever made. And I'll just say very quickly, I know that I did record the war summary ahead of time. We'll talk about that in a minute. I hope. He does not, I'm not trying to be whatever here, but he wants to show the true face of the war. He did not want to get into this glorification or romanticizing of what potentially may happen with the Great War. So when the dead rise up, he actually uses soldiers that have some pretty bad facial disfigurations. I was like, holy moly, like he did not want to shy away from that. So I was like, oh, I got to watch this film. It's obviously an anti-war film. Also that somebody brought up in the lecture on Saturday a book by Ernesta, Drink Your Bullet, which is right over here. I just picked it up and I'll show you the forward. I took a scan of it and knocked my socks off. It's called An Uncensored Diary from the Central Empires. You can get it free online, but like I said before, I'm not into reading on screen very much. Hissy Cat, great to see you. Gauntz did the 1927 Napoleon film. Holy smokes, man, Mike. Thanks, man. I didn't know any, like, this is the first, I never even heard of this person. So as far as I thought, maybe that was only like, this is the only thing he's ever done. I didn't even know he's a famous director. So thank you very much for that. I hope you're doing well, Hissy Cat. The Lance on Lance lecture by the Western Front Association that I was mentioning, it was really neat. What I found interesting was more so the presenter. He's a war vet, actually part of that cavalry regiment still, that's still going on. And he goes on, wrote and directed, Meandering, thank you. And he was very, I just found it, the way he approached the topic, he seemed to be very respectful of everyone. It was in an interesting way. I don't know how else to put it. I can't remember the person's name, but my God, this person must have been an amazing shot. There's even, they have recollections of him going towards the Germans on his horse, holding the reins in his mouth, I think, and he's got both revolvers shooting out. Anyways, this guy had been recorded. They have a picture, like it's multiple witnesses. He was able to something like. Now remember, the gun he was using, I think could only put 7 in the cartridge and 1, I guess, in the barrel, and he was able to fire 15 shots in 15 seconds. And hit 15 targets at 30 yards or something. I was just like, what the hell? Like, Jesus, Murphy. The Sykes-Picot agreement, I do believe, is being worked on as we speak right now. And I don't know if we'll ever be able to talk. Well, we will be getting into it eventually. But, I mean, this is, as you know, has a monster repercussions for what's been going on. Well, for the next 100 years and probably on and on and on. Tolemykus says, put up your hands, you son of a bitch. Yeah, it was it's amazing to hear. And it was a good, well, those lectures will all eventually be put onto YouTube. I don't know when. This blew me away that the Russians got within 8 Der Weltkrieg hexes of Baghdad this week. I was just like, whoa. And there's a battle going on right now. The Italians are doing a feint or a diversionary attack on the southern Carso in hopes that it will entice Svetozar Brevich von Bonia, that guy back there, to move some of his troops from Gorizia up north. And it's an eye-opener just due to the fact that when I was finding out about it, it was upsetting because, I mean, you got to remember, he's almost like a demigod to me. And it sounded like he was getting fooled because he had asked Konrad von Holzendorf, his boss, for some reinforcements. They were denied. Wardor plays World War II. Great to see you, first of all, at a small con, playing large games and playing World War II Crete. However, there are 2 World War I games. Excellent. 1914 from GMT. Oh my! I think that's the deluxe one. I think that Hex sent me. The first one, I think, and as an oldie, La Grande Guerre. Oh my gosh! I only know of it from Callendale. I think mentioning that each of us plays 4 to 5 days. Whoa! I get, or what you saying, per turn or something. Anyways, but he does not move the reinforcements from Gorizia down to the South Carso. So, but I'm still up in the air here of, did he kind of get fooled or not? And I've also mentioned before, I'm not a big fan of his nickname, the Lion of the Isonzo. I know. I'm monstrously naive. I know I need to know way more about Svetozar Borevich von Bonya. That being said, from what I know, he was a very defensive-minded individual. I just find the Lion of the Isonzo an odd nickname for a defensive-minded person. Badarka, I just found out about this week watching the Great War Channel. Some kind of a small Russian boat. They were using, actually putting them on their backs because in the area up north there, there's just swamp. They can't use the roads. Everything's just swamp or flooded. And so that's how the soldiers are getting across sometimes. They're like paddling across till they get to the next dry spot and off they go. Yeah, this knocked my socks off hearing that. The smell of the dead is now starting to get into the food and the water at Verdun. They were using wire roads used in the Sinai, not for troop transport, but not for like heavy equipment or whatever. But it was able to, almost like kind of. Well, we've seen those before. Remember, like it was those wire, almost like sand shoes, I guess, in a sense. Decision games. I think a lot of you probably guys know that there's a new strategy and tactics magazine issue that came out. Something about there's a lot of like alternative things about World War I. That seems interesting. So if anybody knows about it, please let me know. Foods from the Austro-Hungarian Empire. That was International Cookery Course by Vincent Price. I listened to it last night. It's fun. I can listen to him talk about anything, for God's sakes. The guy's amazing. But it was neat to hear. I was like, oh, I'm getting little chunks of history while I'm listening to him about how to prepare his meal. Great War at Sea, Jutland introduction by Andrew Chung. That was just posted, I'm not sure, just a little while ago. That was mentioned to me by the Grog Shed because he knows that I'm interested in about the Great War at Sea. This guy seems like he's going to be doing a series about it, so that seems neat. I don't know too much yet again about it. The After Hours show, and we're cluing in because I'm already into 20 minutes. I haven't done Sweet Pea all. I'm getting to the point. At first, I thought people were pulling my leg. I was talking to Zoe Dufour last week there after the show. And I said, my God, I could talk my flipping ear. I could talk forever today about the Great War. And she's like, well, why didn't you? And I was like, what the hell? But she's not the first person to mention that. Like I said, I thought maybe people were pulling my legs. So I'm going to try to, doesn't mean it's happening today. But what I may do is try to structure things that can go in and I'm not rush and I'll just let them go. AKA, I was able to record the war summary, and that was 28 minutes or something insane. I could put it at the end and just let her go. I don't even know how many people are even watching, for crying out loud. So making people disappear, I won't know. I'll just keep running the bloody thing. And then the week that was, and the Globe's war summary, like I said. If we get to the BGG game of the week, Storm of Steel, the reason why I wanted to bring Storm of Steel in is because Eric Goble had just finished playing it, and he was talking about the cards and that they needed a bit of a reworking. I know that Clark Commando 1983 was one of the playtesters and some for the later edition, the second edition or whatever, and some of his ideas were incorporated. So I thought if he does pop on or whatever, we get to it. But that's, obviously it's like, well, let's talk about what people are into, for goodness sakes. And that's that. Okay, let's go. I don't have to show that for now. We're about to show the fact checker in a minute. I'm just going to, oh yeah, I don't have to do that. I can just put that straight up like this. I keep forgetting I don't have to remove the thing. So here we go. I'm going to put in the first clue. Oh, brother, I don't know about this one. Like, okay, here, I'll just shush. So the first one is, people saw more and more of me as the war went on. Who or what am I? And I'll put that in the comments too, just in case people don't see the banner. All right. Tolemykus says blood. Oh my, that's a good one. But you are incorrect. Oh man, nice one, man. And I have to give you a point. That was really good. Where are you here? Yeah, you're way up now. That's right. I keep forgetting about that. Man, your mic says trench foot. Another one, another good one, but you are incorrect. Cheapers. Yeah, because you know what I mean? Like, I know what the answer is, and I'm like, whoa, you guys are going into some interesting spots. All right, and the next clue is, I could be found on every front, but easiest to spot on the western. Who am I? Harro Bosma says plains. Good, again, good one, but you are incorrect. Gamers with Coffee, Ashley, Death. Yep. Oh, no, but you are incorrect. But you're getting the point. That's for bloody sure. Hissy Cat. Holy shoot. Hey, I like that one. No, you're incorrect. Cheapers. Here, I'll put it in the comments. Like, you know what I mean? Your brain, my mind is going a mile a minute now with all these things. Tolemykus says tanks. No, but you're incorrect. Yeah, this is neat. I'm liking this one. Because I thought for sure this was just going to go like that. Because like I said, Eric Goble says machine guns. You are incorrect, but thank you for, that was a good one. Charles Latora says balloons. Hold on here. You guys are going way too fast for me. You're both both Harro Bosma and Charles Latora. You are incorrect, but thank you for chiming in. And Meandering says yellow fever. You are also incorrect, but I like where you guys are going. Again, especially with the disease thing, that's for sure. And I'll put this one in here, and there's your third one. I can still be found today, and a good example is around the Vimy Memorial. Who or what am I? Okay, we're up to 4. Charles Latora says gas. No, you are incorrect. Well done. Thank you for posting again. I'm trying to get the opposite of like trying to be wrong. You're wrong. Oh wow. Meandering Mike says red poppies. You are incorrect. Jeez, but you're pumping up the stuff here. You guys are freaking me out here. Okay, because you just you're going a mile a minute here. Hold on here. Gamers with Coffee, you are incorrect. You're getting one though for war. Tolemykus says statues. Nice one. You are incorrect. William Arends says gravestones. Also incorrect. Where the heck are you? There you are. You're up there. Chrispy Galactic says burial sites. You were also incorrect, but thank you for popping it in. And here's the here's the next one. And I'll put that in the banner because I didn't put it in. Both sides made me, and both sides fought and died for me. Who or what am I? Hissy Cat says trenches. Nice one. However, you are incorrect. You're close. That's all I got to say for now. And then I will start talking. Another thing I have to remind myself too is talking to Zoe Dufour about it. And I was like, after I do I reveal the answer, I don't explain often why in the world I picked those clues. Like why, you know what I mean? Like that type of stuff, or add a bit more things. Like last week there with Ferdinand, memorial sites. Chrispy Galactic says, no, you are incorrect. Let me pop it in. Did I put it in? Just there. Hold on. There we go. My biggest appearance was on July 1st, 1916 at the Battle of the Somme. Who or what am I? And there you go. Oh my gosh, guys, we're going to go down to the last clue perhaps. Tolemykus says secrets. Now, I know it's almost like a running gag with me anyways, Tolemykus. Like I said, to me, in my mind, like I always associate you now as a spy or India espionage and all those crazy. Charles Latora, Congratulations, you did it. Gamers with Coffee Ashley says freedom. I love it, but you are incorrect. Hold on. I'm going to pop you in there. Yes, Charles Latora, you got it. You got it, craters. Well, we're just going to say craters straight up, not just shell craters, because there's also the mine crater. And the mine crater, and everybody's congratulating you, Charles. Latora, I'm going to have to put +6 here. Yeah, it's and the last clue, and I'm sure it would have been a lightning answer. Thank my jig is this one, and then we're going to show you a couple of pictures. So the last one was going to be I can be found on the moon, and if you guys didn't get that by then, there would have been some issues as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so here we go. Green cheese, yes. Meandering Mike, of course, you would have been able to say that as well. Brian R. Smith says, well done, Charles. Yeah, let me go and pop in a picture and also a link. Yeah, I was like I said, it's getting tricky now. I'm like, I have to come up with these like, what am I going to say here? Okay, let me present the screen so you guys can see this one. And this is near Saint Eloi. I got to stop the screen and then present the new one. Okay. Darn it. What am I doing wrong here? There we go. Yeah, nice one, Charles. Latora. I've got to remember to keep doing that. So, yeah, hopefully I'll get rid of myself so you guys can see it big. Yeah, look at the side. I mean, that's just, well, you can see the trenches there as well, but my goodness. That's just mind-blowing to me. I'm going to stop the screen, put that away, and then I'm going to go to one of the links so we can see this. So yeah, the largest, as far as I know, the largest crater is about to happen on July 1st, 1916. I think it's like 3 separate explosions or something. It's enormous. I think it causes the British actually worse trouble than because when they go through, they can't get up. It's almost like you've seen those, those ants trying to go up the sand thing. It just ain't working, kind of thing. It just still, as you guys know too, it's kind of oddly disturbing. And eventually these things that are made to kill, like it's the effect of trying to kill somebody, and later on they're trying to defend these spots and take these spots. It's just like, oh my gosh, here it is. Nope, not that one. Where are you? Maybe I don't have you. Oh, shoot. Nope, here it is. This one looked like straight out of like outer space. I was like, you got to be joking. Okay, let me go to it. I'm just going to pop you in straight. Tolemykus says, the gift that keeps on giving. Yeah. And the reason why I popped in the Vimy Memorial, I think you guys have known that around that area, they purposely made sure that that area was not reclaimed or what have you. So that way to give it, to really show people that this is what it looks like. Okay, and you guys can see that. Excellent. Look at that thing. I mean, that just, to me, I don't know about you guys. This is the largest crater I do, or maybe let's not get into that. Yes, no, let's not say that again. But look at the size of that monster. I don't know about you guys. William Arends says the Great War, the war that could make the Earth look like the moon, 100%, just blows me away. When I stare at that, it's like, come on. It's fascinating to read this little thing because it got reclaimed. Someone purchased it and turned it into a memorial. Before then, it was kind of like more or less forgotten, being used for dirt biking and all kinds of stuff and whatnot. It was kind of neat. But anyways, like I said, now I can go later. I'll put in. I will put it in the sources and links. So we've done that. I mentioned we don't have to go and see it, but like I said, we put in the Rob Thompson magazine. You go get the link, and like I said, you can download it, and away we go. I do want to show. There are lots of stuff I wanted to show. Jeepers jumping, and we're at 30 minutes. Oh my God. I don't know how the hell this happens, man. Well, there's just so much to talk about. Okay. If we don't get to the war summary and people go away, I'm going to tell you what I know, kind of what's been going on this week. Okay. So we know the Irish uprising, the Easter Rising got crushed like a grape. It's over. They've already started executing some people. What else do we know? General Smuts is more or less stopped in German East Africa, not because of Leto Vorbeck, but because I think it's the rainy season has kicked in now. The biggie, the monster, let's be honest, is the siege of Kut is over because the British have surrendered. That's it. What else do we know about that Italian feint that's going on? Next week, oh my God, I think it's on the 8th of May, I think, is the Battle of Jutland, for goodness sakes. Also, I think in 2 days' time, the Germans are going to send out that Sussex pledge, which is kind of like, okay, we're not going to we'll give merchant ships a bit of a warning or what have you before we nail them, that type of thing or something like that. That's going to go away eventually, as we know. What else? The Brusilov offensive is about to kick in June, so that's starting to gear up. I'm trying to probably drawing a blank on a lot of things. Yeah, of course I am. But that's why we've got the war summary in the week and all that crazy nonsense. Okay, is there anything crazy to show you? No, for that one it doesn't. I don't think it really matters. But I do want to go to show how Harro Bosma, I really do. Maybe a lot of people have not seen that gorgeous looking map. Oh yeah, and because of the siege of Kut, I'm going to put it in the links. Is that way back when Justegard, another YouTuber, did the relief of Kut from Der Weltkrieg, the Osmanli Harbi module, and so you can go look it up and see what that's like, with that type of thing. Oh my God, I didn't do the fact checker. Let's do that first. Jeepers jumping, because that's pretty darn important. That was from last week. Okay, let me go and present the screen. Yeah, that's really darn important. Okay, and I can put me sideways, yeah, because I made it pretty darn giant. So yeah, the first one is that for Big Bertha Bingo. I forgot that's not even the big. So you'll see those tanks off to the side. I'll show it later or whatever. I forgot that's not actually even Big Bertha. That's Big Bertha's precursor, the Gamma Gun. I can't remember what it's called in German, but when I heard it in English, the Gamma Gun, I was like, oh my God, that just sounds so cool. I ended up copying the picture and keeping it on my hard drive, and then I just forgot that it was not Big Bertha. But anyways, that's that one. There's that place I was saying there last week that I thought was in North Africa. Sana Iyat is actually in Mesopotamia and concerns with the siege of Kut. I remember this is also, yet again, I was starting to muddle battles together and whatnot. So the Second Battle of Ypres, this is the first use of poisonous gas on the Western Front, not the first time, first use of poisonous gas. That would have been, I don't know if the Battle of Bolimov on the Eastern Front there in January, February 15 was, I thought that maybe it was just tear gas. Maybe I have to take a look. From where the Algerian troops left, and that's where the Canadians, remember they were mentioning it, and I'm not sure if it was the war summary about like a year ago, how good the Canadians stood their ground or whatever. This is what they're talking about there. The Battle of Neuve-Chapelle, this is the battle in March of 1915, where the British initially, oh, great to see you, Hex to Hex. I hope you're doing well, man. Where the British initially made success in breaking through the German trench line, but were unable to follow up on their success. And remember, that was due to they were learning about communications and so on and so forth. But the Germans were paying attention about concentration of artillery and how good it was. Clark Commando 1983. Hello from Lodi here for a short bit. Great to see you, even if it's just for a short bit. Hope you're doing great. Yeah, we were going to kind of talk about Storm of Steel. I don't know if we're ever going to get to it, but if we ever do, I certainly, not saying on this show, but I'd certainly like to have you chime in, because one of us, Eric Goble, just finished playing it, and so we wanted to talk a bit about that. The Battle of Los is the one there that I was telling, that I yet again muddled a little bit. There where I that's the one where I thought, no, there was a previous battle I thought is where they kept the reserves too far away. This is where they kept the reserves too far away, and later on, remember, John French got turfed for that, basically. Well, it was for other stuff as well, but Douglas Haig took over, and then trench rating from here on in, basically. Phosgene gas, Brian R. Smith mentioned that last week, so I thought, wait a minute, let's go and take a look at phosgene gas, because I had mentioned something about it was a particularly nasty one, because often that you didn't know that you were actually getting hit with it. And here it is. The gas was developed by the French in 1915. That I didn't know. And is often difficult to detect from smell. Smells like musty hay, is denser than air, and its effects may take time to manifest. And William Arends says, hello, Mark. And that's it for the fact checker as far as I know. Like I said, I most likely probably did a bunch of whatevers. Let's go to the week quickly. No, we're going to go, I'm going to go back to here for a second. I got to stop the screen because I want to go and show the that beautiful bit of the Kings and Kaisers map. It's just a sweetheart. And I think you're going to see why potentially. I think it's got a lot of, did I put it in here? Please tell me I did. I have it in here. Maybe I didn't put it in here. Jeepers jumping. I thought for sure. How am I going to do that? Oh, I know how to do it. Hold on. It's in my bloody thing, because like I said, they're like, hey, your items, you got some items here. So I'll go to the, I'm going to go to continue to checkout, and not really. Hold on here. I don't want you to see all this funky stuff. And then we're going to go to Kings and Kaisers. Actually, yeah, I just think it's an absolutely gorgeous map. Oh, hold on here. Did I? No. Hold on here. We're almost there. And then we'll get into the nitty gritty. All right. And I'm going to present the screen, share the screen. There. You guys can see, I'm going to get rid of me so you guys can see this. I don't know about you guys, but as far as I'm concerned, this has tons of potential. You don't have to use it specifically. I was like, I'm already masking out the numbers in my head, but I love the regions. I absolutely adore this gray shading effect. I think not only is it period friendly, it's also, I think, really nice on the eyeballs for staring at it for ages. Just to be able to see the entire world like that, I'm like, wow, thanks a lot. It would be about $200 Canadian to get to my house. So that's why it's not here. It's in the cart, though, to probably try to drive me up the tree, as in, go and get it. But I'm not going to right now. I've got, 13 days. I got Ken games, for goodness sakes. Okay, so here we go. That's bit. And now we're going to go off to, like I said, thank God I've put in the sources and links and whatnot. Shoots and ladders. Yeah, I just may have to run the show. Like I said, I'll just play the whatever after the war summary or whatever. We'll go from there. Harro Bosma says, according to the YouTube's map, underwent lots of play testing. Interesting. Yeah, and as you know, Harro Bosma, it looks a heck of a lot similar, well, not the colors, obviously, to that Global War game by Historical Board Gaming Company or whatever. But when I saw that grayish one, I went, no. I'd go for that in a million years, because the other one's got eye fatigue written all over it. I'm like, screw that. We're going to go to the week. Then we're going to go to the ATA, and we'll go from there, because those things I need to chit-chat about. And afterwards, I can just, like I said, I'm just going to play the show, play it off. And like I said, I don't even know how many people are watching this my show, which is my show. I did it. Damn it. I hate saying that, man. 99 USD for the map. Okay. There we go. And you guys can see that. I'm going to put me sideways. Yeah, I hate that. I hate saying that, man. It makes me sick to my stomach. The week that was for April 28th to May 4th, 1916. April 28th, Germans regained all ground lost at Nark. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say one of the reasons why. Before we even start the show, and I'm seeing all the comments going on and so on and so forth, today I went, do I ever feel welcome? Me, you know what I mean? I'm the one hosting the show. And I was like, wow, this is a great feeling. Anyways, off we go. April 29th, the Dublin post office is burnt by the Irish rebels. Coote surrenders to the Ottomans. General Townsend, along with 3,000 British and 6,000 Indian troops, are taken prisoner. And from what I know, they were not treated well. A lot of them end up dead. Coote siege lasted 143 days. Italians take Adamello Crest in the Trent regions. German gas attacks at Hulk and Wolverhampton fail. That's alluding to also what Brian R. Smith was talking about last week when he was like, oh, when we mentioned Hulk, he was like, oh, there's a lot of gas being used there. April 30th, German attack from Messines, I think that's how you say it, ridge defeated by artillery. Belgian column arrives in Victoria, Nyanza region. I found that interesting. I didn't know. 707 Dublin rebels surrender. May 1st, Harro arrested at Berlin. I'd like to, well, I'm going to go find out about him eventually. End of Irish Rebellion. The Irish rebel leaders surrender, and J. Tribich Lincoln MP extradited, and I'm sure he's about that type of stuff. May 2nd, Germany agrees to the British proposal for transfer of prisoners of war to Switzerland. William Arends says that Kings and Kaisers map looks almost three-dimensional on a flat surface. It's intriguing. Harro Bosma knows the dimensions. It's monstrous, but I was like, oh boy, I would like to have that. King's message to Mesopotamian force. French occupy Florina, 23 miles, which is about 2 der Weltkrieg hexes south of Monastir. Whoa. I remember Meandering Mike mentioning this a few weeks ago, going, what the hell are the French doing over in the Balkans and whatnot? Look where the hell they are. This is nuts. Zeppelin raid on the east coast of England and Scotland with 9 reported killed and 30 injured. The 3rd of May, French success at Mortain. Germans bombard Hill 304. Aeroplane raid on Deal with 4 reported injured. Zeppelin L-20 is sunk off of Norway. Gamers of Coffee, Ashley, have to get back to work. Have a great day. Super fantastic to see you, Ashley, man. I hope you have I hope it goes quick, man. You get the, like you say, go back to the stuff you enjoy doing, like painting and 3D printing, the whole 9 yards, gaming. Zeppelin L-7 destroyed by British warships off the Schleswig coast. German reply to the USA note on submarine campaign. I haven't seen it yet, so maybe that's the Sussex Pledge. Oh boy, that'll be neat. Now we're going to go to the ATA, and I can just do that. Excellent. This is cool. I'm just going to get rid of this because I think my computer's not the best. Harro Bosma says 70 inches by 32 inches. Oh my gosh, that will not fit on my table. Nope, but I'd figure out something. Oh boy, I want that. It's just got strategy. It's got tons of, come on, man. Anyways, equal justice for all. I haven't read this as well. Like I said, William Arends, I just went super quick with it. So this is William Arends' ATA, and it's him finding alternate methods to get us some info. 3rd of May, 1916, the profiteering of foodstuffs. The word that enrages and causes offense, we believe to be the formerly unheard of inflation in foodstuffs and other necessities of life that is the unfortunate reason for today's hardships. This we know because of investigations that have been conducted both privately and publicly, which suggest that profiteering has probably occurred. Unscrupulous speculation has occurred at a time of stress and strain, while some are not bashful in undertaking their crime spree of robberies at this time that they see as their service to the fatherland. In the general meeting of the Kaiser Wilhelm Society, that Privy Council found sufficient reason to condemn those who have created these conditions. Charles Latora, Harro Bosma says, exactly fits my table. Oh, you. Charles Latora says, yep, would fit on my table too, you little brats. In the general meeting of the Kaiser, well, good on you, brats. The Kaiser Wilhelm Society, that Privy Council found sufficient reason to condemn those who have created these conditions. The investigation of the Cologne newspaper put forth, the starvation of Germany is not possible, but strong measures should be put in place to ensure that it does not happen. Yeah, this is interesting. Well, we know, I think the winter of 1916, 1917 ain't too sweet. I think, isn't that the turnip winter coming up? So a hardship does exist in maintaining food support, but they don't know that. In maintaining food support while in the countryside, food production is sufficient by and large. The use of ration cards does not put us closer to answering the question of food supplies with cards for bread and other produce that some orders have proposed as a solution. The great misfortune lies in the circumstance that many foodstuffs are lost due to a short shelf life. In the discussion of nutritional matters such as cycles of food spoilage are especially apparent. Thus, the food stock that is available should be preserved. Our ability to feed our people is lessened by the horrible developments in the large cities and industrial centers. Thus, because of this problem and unheard of war profiteering, price inflation of foodstuffs causes a heavy burden, while in a completely shameless manner, this camp quickly profits off of these much higher prices. At the same time, the price regulation commissions are, to our understanding, without success in controlling this problem. Indeed, this way to attempt to control the constant raising of these inflationary prices has not made things better. Rather, it has led to yet another increase in prices. Thus, the press often has asked the authorities to pursue straight away these guilty parties of interest. In fact, the unreasonable price increases and holding back of the supply of foodstuffs is a punishable offense, but these regulations are either never or in a feeble way enforced, so no one risks attacking this root cause of the problem. Editor's note: this is but a brief excerpt of this long article. It is interesting to see that the problem of supplying the population with food is not laid solely on the British blockade, but rather on internal economic conditions. I wonder what problems my widowed great-grandmother and the 7 of her 9 children who remained with her in Einbeck, Germany, faced at this time. Whoa! That's, thank you for this, because you're going to see why in a minute, I think. I can get rid of all of this. Nope, I do not want to save it, and I'm going to stop the screen. And I'm going to explain to you why. Well, first of all, yet again, thank you so much for what you do for us, William Arends. Also, the fact that when I'm about to show picture-wise, which is the forward for Ernesta Drinker Bullett's book, if I can get it, hold on, is it kind of brings up to what you were just saying about the great-grandmother and what she was going through. So if I can find it, please tell me it's there, you son of a bee. I thought I had it there. Oh, the forward book. There we go. All right. Hold on. And I'm going to share the screen window. There we go. And I'll make it view. Now this just blew me away. I was like, you got to be joking. So you guys can see that. Excellent. I'm hiding something you don't see. So this is the forward, and I want you've got to be joking. The portion of my diary, which is published in this book, she wrote, so this is being written in 1917. Remembering how greatly the diary, which my great-great-grandmother Elizabeth Drinker kept during the American Revolution, holy smokes, had interested her descendants, I recorded for my great-grandchildren my experiences last summer in Germany, Austria, Hungary, and Belgium. I thought that was interesting that she parsed, you know what I mean, didn't connect the dots with Austria. She kept them separate. And also on a side note, just to say the Vincent Price thing about how to cook an Austro-Hungarian Empire dinner kind of thing, he also was that way, the way he was talking. I thought that was neat. In Belgium, when publishers asked for the diary a century before I had expected, I did not attempt to polish loose-jointed English or to suppress any but personal incidents. The pages of the book stand as written within the lines of the Central Powers. The character referred to as Billy throughout the diary is my husband, William C. Bullitt, Ernesta Drinker Bullitt. And I was just like, where are the people? Well, I know that you wanted to talk to your relatives there, Ernesta, but where are the people 100 years later? I just thought that was so flippin' cool. That just knocked my socks off. So I'll stop the screen. So there we are. I'm going to take a look at stuff I was supposed to. We got, yeah, you know what? I think that's what I'm going to do. When we get to around noon, I'm just going to slap on my video for War Summary and let her go. And we're just going to go from there, I think. I think it's kind of like a good idea. I'm just looking at some of the stuff that I did want to kind of chit-chat about. So I did say, yeah, about the 4th battle, that I was kind of a bit sad about my dude there, but it looks like potentially he's not... it's going to be okay. I mentioned the movie J'accuse. Jeepers jumping. We're doing not too bad. Well, yeah, let's go and take a quickie look at the pinup guy and gal. That makes a lot of sense. Park Commando 1983 says, should I buy the Fortress or follow the Double Eagle? I don't know of either. So you guys better help him out there. I don't know what in the world he's talking about. Hold on here. I'm going to share the screen. So this is just one example. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but it was one of the things that I did see about this woman, Miss Kathleen Burke, and her when she ends up getting married. Well, she'll become Mrs. Kathleen Burke Hale. Clark Commando 1983 says books. Oh, I know what you're getting into now. Or Fall of the Double Eagle. I don't know anything about Fall of the Double Eagle, but boy, that sounds pretty darn good. Yeah, I could always lend you out my Fortress one if you wanted. But so here's this tells the moving work of her in Serbia. I wanted you to see this. Hold on, I'm going to see if I can. I wonder if it'll let me show what she looks like. So that's her. Took me a long time to find her. Hold on, it's not going to do. There. So that's her. It's the best picture I could find of her. I think she's an American, or she ends up actually going back to the States. She did a lot of, well, like I said, as far as I know, she wrote that book, The White Road to Verdun. And as far as I know, she was the first woman in that combat zone. That's all I know. I don't know any, don't let me go off into further Wonderland here. And now let's go off to the next guy, the pinup guy. Him. And it's, what did I say his name was? Lieutenant. Do I have him somewhere around here? Is it? Well, we're going to find out. Second Lieutenant Vivian Charles Wolfe Sutton. Clark Commando 1983 says the Chemish siege is fortress, and at Fall of the Double Eagle covers the whole Galicia campaign. Oh my gosh, covers the whole Galicia one. Go for that. Both Harro, Bosma, of course. He's the smart one today. He's been the smart one the past couple of days. Gets that beautiful map, and away you go. To me, The Siege of Chemish sounds very interesting. It is. It's a darn good book. Alexander Watson's a really, really good lecturer, historian. He's done a lot of podcasts. I've been interviewed that way. Anyways, we're going to go into this number 2 here. So you can see him a bit more, and I'm going to blow him up a tiny bit. You can see I had all kinds of info on him, and now I don't. But there he is, and the poor guy died, I think, at age 23 or something like that. But anyways, I wanted to show you him. And it's just, yet again, these guys are just so bloody young looking, man. It just knocks my socks off. Okay, I'm going to stop the screen for now because I'm trying to think of we maybe have to just go off to the whatever. Is there anything else I wanted to mention before we're doing this? It's weird to think that before now that we have this, I'm going into this after hours thing with the war summary. I'm just going to let her run. Is that no? I almost feel like I'm Clark Commando says, "Hello, I'm tempted." Yeah, come on, it's not that expensive. The Fortress one, it's not that expensive. Goodness gracious. You can buy it, you can get it used now. Okay, you know what? We've only got 7 minutes. Let's go off to, because we've got Clark Commando here, 1983 here for crying out loud. We might as well use you to your full, our full potential that we can. Hold on here. I'm going to go to here, window. Nope. Hold on here. I'm doing the wrong bit. Okay, I want to go to BGG. Yeah, we'll take a quickie look at Storm of Steel if we can. If I got it around here. Yep. And like I said, Eric Goble was playing it, and he was mentioning something about the cards needing reworking. And I'm going to get rid of me. So we can make it bigger, and I'll pop you into maybe just there. That's a bit, that's good enough. Harro Bosma says for sure that Galicia campaign dedicates a chapter to the fortress, so maybe a Fall of Double Eagle would be a good choice. Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking as well. But yeah, the Chemish, it's a very human oriented book. I mean, even it talks about the reserve troops in there. It's like 1 minute you're a high school teacher, next minute you're facing Russians coming at you. It's like holy. That type of stuff. It's it's like holy moly. Yet again, so Clark Commando 1983 about this. Eric Goble was talking about the event cards potentially needing reworking. So I thought, interesting. Like, I don't know. And he was saying that it is card enhanced or whatever, but certainly not. Excellent, Clark Commander 1983. That's what we do here, right? We help each other with restraint. Eric Goble says, if you buy Storm of Steel, just make sure you spend some time printing out some of the upgrade player aids and build your own spreadsheets for production. Cool. Okay, then. It's one of these games that's on my radar for sure, because I want to always look at things that I can pilfer for my other game, for my own game, and so on and so forth, and get some ideas. And I got to watch Clark Commando 1983 do some of this stuff. Meandering Mike says there was a revised edition of Storm of Steel. Yes. And I know that people keep mentioning where the heck did I look at that? My, oh my. So this is what you guys get? Harro Bosma says maybe you can buy used copies. Yeah, look at this. Yeah. Do you know what sucks is they had it, I remember a few months ago or whatever, for it was like $90 off US. It was nuts. Clark Commando 1983 says, Eric, those are all included in the updated edition. Oh, cool. So maybe that's all it is, Eric Goble, is that you would have been like me, getting maybe an older version. Okay, I'm going to stop the screen because I'm going to chit-chat for maybe a few minutes, and then I'll slap it on. I'll pop it on my YouTube thing, I guess. It's only whatever amount of minutes, and I'll watch it from there. Gosh, I don't know how to... Yeah, I guess I'll do it that way, and we'll just go from there, kind of thing. I hope this kind of went well. Yet again, I didn't hand out any Big Bertha bingo cards, but I'll have to figure how to do that. I mean, I've got them digitally ready. I just don't know how to actually whatever. Clark Commando 1983 says it's a very underrated game. I helped Bob Medro did the update. That's what we were. I was trying to. I just wasn't very specific about it, but. There we go. Okay, I'm going to start playing it. I'll still be on, kind of thing. Of course, I don't know who. Like I said, I'm technically just want to hang out, just do 1 hour, but I'm going to call it the after hours show now, I guess. William Arends says it seems that there are almost as many full strategic designs of World War I games as there are World War II games. There was come on, let's be honest. There was a ton out there for Compass was pumping out. I think Meandering Mike mentioned that his name's Bill Thomas. Of the owner for Compass, he was saying that he's he's got a soft spot for World War I games, I do believe. Clark Commando 1983 says, cards are okay, small errata on the Schlieffen card. Eric Goble says that makes sense. I had downloaded the update kit from Decision, easily a top 10 game. Really? Whoa, key doke. I didn't know that one. That's kind of like even giving me a bit more of motivation to go, oh, okay. Clark Commando 1983 says I did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. But I knew that you were in love with it. So I'm not saying I wasn't like taking, I was taking your thing with a grain of salt. But when I hear someone like when I hear someone like Eric Goble mentioning it, who's not like, emotionally attached to the game because he didn't play test it or whatever, I'm like, gives me a bit more of like, okay, if somebody else is also saying it. And Eric Goble has played a ton of World War I games from what I can see. All right, guys, I'm still going to be here. I don't know what I'm going to do here. I've played 6 complete campaigns, Clark Commando 1983 says. Jeepers, jumping mother. That is impressive. That's it. So how am I going to do this? I'm not going to say goodbye at the end is what I'm trying to say. I can't read that. Darn it, what's going on? Strange. I can't, for some reason, read Chrispy Galactic's thing. It's not there. What's going on? Mark R is a total beast. It's some kind of weird... you're doing Morse code. Well done, my friend. Well done. Yes, it gives me the willies, Meandering Mike, when it's like some people, I'm just like, the way they don't seem to blink or get intimidated by certain things and just go right in. Maybe that's the way to do it. I don't know. So like I said, I'm not going to say goodbye at the end, I'm just going to kind of, well, I'll say goodbye in the text kind of thing, but I'm not going to talk anymore kind of thing. I'm going to let the recording do. We're at noon, so that's or noon my time. Thanks again. I hope this went well. Like I said, next week we'll have a normal live stream because I have to reschedule with Paul Hederer. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it's going to happen. That's a 100% chance. He seems very motivated to do it, and I'm certainly darn motivated to do it. And like I said, hopefully, I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll happen in early June and just tie in with the start of the Brusilov offensive, which would be kind of cool as far as I'm concerned. Clark Commando 1983 says, see you guys. Stay well, everyone. Love you. And thanks, Chris, for staying with the Weltkrieg. Yeah, I have no choice, man. Eric Goble says, we didn't use the Schlieffen card in our last playthrough. We choose Van Moltke, the Elder. Poor Russians made the game fun. Oh, neato, man. Oh my God, you're getting my brain, man. I'm thinking now about the Strategy and Tactics magazine. But imagine having that beside you. I don't know if you could, I mean, they're both from the same company too. I wonder if you could, play around with it a little bit. Pluck them out. Says, yep, that's me. Thanks, guys. That's lots of choices. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to start her off, and away we go. So, like I'm saying goodbye to you verbally, and then I'm going to go and pop the thing on. Hold on here. Still here in the sense should I do it through there? Oh, William Arends, man, you're gold. That's all I got to say. 100% gold. So like I said, this is it. You're not going to see me anymore. I'm just going to say thank you so much. I'm going to try to, I think I can just add it to the stage. And we'll see if this works. For April 28th to May 4th. No, I don't think that's going to work. No, I'm going to, I know, I'll remove this. Harro Bosma, thanks. See you later next week. I'm going to put, that's what I'll do. Hold on here. I'm going to go to my YouTube thing, which you guys can't see yet. You're about to. And away we go. And hopefully this is going to kind of work this way. I mean, I wasn't expecting to chit chat. Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah. Don't worry. I'm going to mute myself in a minute. I just got to get to the content here. And here we go. Okay. And okay, just before I start going funky with it, just please let me know if you can see everything. Hey, you, don't do that. I just want to get rid of one thing. Okay, there, because if I didn't, it's going to cause some grief. Okay, you guys can see that? You guys can still hear me, correct? I'm about to mute me. I'm going to play it, and when it starts to play, please let me know if you can still hear it, because I'm not sure if it's going to, what it's going to do, if that makes any sense, because I don't want you to hear me in the living room or in my room talking. I'll put me just temporarily sideways so you can, whatever. I don't want you hearing me while I'm sitting here or wandering around, but obviously I want you to hear the bloody thing. Otherwise, what would be the point in some ways? Okay, so I'm going to go to here. Here we go. I'm going to mute me and we'll see what happens. Thanks, guys. Cheapers jumping, eh? Okay, so I'm gonna, okay, you were about to hear non-silence. How's that? I just put it back. So here we go. You guys can hear me now, I hope. You can hear me now. Okay, well, I haven't hit the play button, so here we go. Hello, darkness, my old friend. All right, here we go. Cheapers jumping, eh? Whoa! My God. So you guys can hear, I got to redo. Oh, you sons of bees. Okay. Here we go again. You little brats. But you can hear me yabbering. Good God. Talk about after hours. Jesus H. Christ. Oh my F. Okay. We're going to remove. Stop the screen. And I'm going to, so you can hear this. I hope to God. And then we're going to, yes, okay. So at least we're back to normal land. I almost feel like I'm going backwards, like episode 12 or something. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share the screen. Of course, I want you to also share the effing audio. What would be the point, you tit? Okay, so you, let me know if you can, now we're going to know, because I'm not going to know. I can hear it perfectly in my living room. Oh my goodness. And away we go. The war summary for April 28th to May 4th, 1916. The incessant call for more recruits in Great Britain is now believed to be due to knowledge that the Germans are about to launch a great attack on the British lines in Flanders and northern France. Colonel Remington, the military correspondent of the London Times, believes that 800,000 men have been concentrated by the enemy for this effort, which will not be long delayed. That troops are still moving in great numbers is deduced from the fact that the German frontier has been closed since Monday, and that for 20 days, neither passengers nor mails will be allowed to leave the country. Similar precautions against the leakage of military information were taken in February before the launching of the BERTHA campaign, which is now recognized everywhere except at the headquarters of the Crown Prince as a hopeless failure. Will Sir Douglas Haig wait to be attacked, or will the British offensive, which military observers have talked of as likely to be begun in May or early in June, be launched at once in anticipation of the German move? Were the British commander-in-chief certain that the Germans would attack unreservedly as they have done at Verdun and give up opportunity of inflicting losses upon them similar in proportion to the losses at Verdun, he would be assuredly remain on the defensive, for that would be the surest method of destroying Germany's military strength. There are elements of doubt in the situation that must be taken into consideration. The great concentration of Germans in Flanders may be intended not to strike, but to resist a British stroke. If Sir Douglas Haig remains on the defensive till well on the season, awaiting a German advance, only to discover that no advance was intended and that the Germans have occupied the breathing spell and making their lines impregnable, his task will be a much more serious one than it would be were he to launch his intended assault at once. In the British official report issued last night, there are indications of growing activity all along the front. The Bedfordshire Regiment successfully raided the German lines near Carnoy. The Germans attacked the British trenches at Saint-Éloi, Hill 60, and Freyline. In every case, they were repulsed. The French Midnight Report tells of two semblances of attack by the Germans on the Verdun front east of the Meuse. On both occasions, the Germans arrested by the French curtain of fire were not able to leave their trenches. On the west side of the river, the German guns are intensely active against the French second-line positions. Another infantry assault on Hill 304 and Dead Man's Hill is in course of preparation. The dirigibles of the French army are now being pressed into service in the bombing of the German encampments around Verdun. 3 took part in the operations on Wednesday night when many large projectiles were dropped around Étain and on the important Arnalville railway junction. All goes well in Armenia. A Petrograd report announced that south of Bitlis, the Turks have been driven from a series of mountain positions held by them. These positions were undoubtedly taken to prevent the army of the Grand Duke from reaching the valley of the Tigris, though through which passed the roads connecting railhead of the Baghdad Railway with the Turkish army now besieging Kut al-Amara. Were the Russians to win their way to the Tigris at or near Mosul, they would paralyze the Turkish operations throughout Mesopotamia. That the Grand Duke is holding back on the Black Sea coast till he links up with the British army of the Tigris seems to be the meaning of the strong movement of the Russians south of Bitlis. The government of Greece has been notified that the Allies can see no way of avoiding the use of the Greek railways for the transportation of the Serbian army, now at Corfu and other locations on the Adriatic and western coast of Greece to Salonika. Guarantees have been given that the railways will be used in such a way as to interfere as little as possible with the transportation needs of the civil population, and that only soldiers will be carried who are absolutely healthy. The Greeks have feared typhus infection, that disease having broken out among the Serbs for the second time last winter since war began. It would appear from the information given out as transportation that the bulk of the Serbs are to join the army of Salonika, and that no extensive operations on the Adriatic coast are contemplated. The Prussian official lists now show total casualties of 2.5 million plus. There's no pretense that they are up to date. The arrival of a third Russian contingent at Marseille so soon after the two former bodies makes it reasonably certain that the men are not being brought from the Far East. The Canadian icebreaker sent to Archangel must have done excellent work if the Russians have come up from the White Sea. And if from Archangel, why are they landed at Marseille? To confuse the Germans, no doubt, even as the landing there confuses and perplexes all the rest of the world. The German Admiralty has probably dispatched submarines here to intercept the troop ships bearing the Russians at the mouth of the Suez Canal or on the northern coast of Norway before they swing out into the Atlantic. Perhaps the Straits of Gibraltar are also under observation, although that is a very dangerous bit of water for the enemy's undersea boats. The Russian reinforcements for the French front are manifestly not merely as a matter of sentiment. The Allies mean business in the West. The big guns are still doing most of the fighting at Verdun. The Germans violently bombarded the French lines yesterday between Pepper Hill and Douaumont on the east side of the Meuse. The sinking of the battleship Russell by coming in contact with a mine somewhere in the Mediterranean is believed to have caused the death of 124 officers and men. The Russell was a comparatively modern pre-dreadnought commissioned in 1903. Her main battery consisted of 4 12-inch guns, and she mounted as a secondary battery 12 6-inch quick firers. While every ship counts, the 124 men who went down with the Russell were a more serious loss than that of the vessel. The Allies are so overwhelmingly strong in naval resources that there's no danger of supremacy being wrested from them. Britain has lost 10 battleships since the war began. One of them, the Audacious, the sinking of which was never officially acknowledged, was a dreadnought. The Kut-El-Amara garrison is evidently in a desperate situation. There's evidence that the British public are being prepared for the possible capitulation of General Townshend's army. It was officially announced in London last night that a relief ship sent up the Tigris with supplies for the beleaguered garrison grounded 4 miles from Kut-El-Amara and was presumably captured by the Turks. This news is distinctly ominous. The ship would not have been sent on so hazardous a mission had the need not been great. The attempt will make the Turks more vigilant in guarding the river, and as the floods that prevent a general attack on their positions will last for several weeks yet, Townshend's force may not be able to hold out. It consisted originally of over a division, but there are probably not more than 10,000 soldiers left. The only hope seems to be in a very rapid advance of the Russians from the east towards Baghdad. Reports from Dublin state that large reinforcements have arrived there, that there has been more hot fighting, but that the troops are getting the upper hand. And although it is officially reported that serious riots have broken out, a large one on Sackville Street being still in progress, the Sinn Féiners made a vigorous stand at their headquarters known as Liberty Hall, and the building had to be shelled by a gunboat which lay nearby in the river. The capture of the hill fortress of Sasson to the northwest of Bitlis by the left wing of the Russian army operating in southern Armenia is of importance. The place is one of great natural strength and firmly held would have delayed the Russian advance toward the Tigris for a considerable period. There's little doing at any point along the European-Russian front. Petrograd reports an advance west of Vinsk, where the Germans are being forced by a combination of floods and Russian bayonets to give ground. In Galicia, southwest of Tarnopol, there have been hand-to-hand fighting on the Stripa, which resulted in the destruction of Austrian fieldworks, the death of many of the Austrians engaged, and the capture of 96 of them by the Russians. There are no signs of a general advance on this front, either by the Russians or the Teutons. The Turk may be a barbarian, but he's also a soldier. Because that's going to come up later, this barbarian thing. That's all I'm just going to bring that up. The siege of Kut-El-Amara was a struggle of endurance. The hunger that forced the surrender of General Townshend's men was probably but a little greater than that to which the besieging army had to submit. Supplies are frightfully scarce in Mesopotamia, and the conditions of transport in the flooded region along the Tigris are almost unthinkably difficult. The Turkish triumph will be short-lived. The composition of General Townshend's army has been kept such a secret that few people even suspected how small was the number of British troops at his command. His endeavor to capture Baghdad with 4,000 or 5,000 British soldiers, which must have been his total European strength before the Battle of Ctesiphon, was probably the most daring and also the most foolhardy operation undertaken by British troops during the war. You can also include Gallipoli with that. Much credit would have been given to the Sir John Nixon had his plan succeeded. He, like Sir Ian Hamilton, has had to bear the discredit of a disastrous failure. General Townshend made a protest against the advance to Baghdad, but when he was ordered to make it, but without avail, he comes out of the affair with his judgment vindicated and his reputation unsullied. Elsewhere, the cause of the Allies prospers. The Battle of Verdun is at an end. While the great guns still thunder in the region of Dead Man's Hill, the German assaults are no longer dangerous, and the French, in their counterattacks, gain ground. For almost 2 months, the Germans have tried to break the French line. That our allies are able to go forward, are standing upon the defensive for almost 2 months, shows that the tide of battle around Verdun has undoubtedly turned. So I just jumped a little bit to the red dot there. There's much aerial activity. Perhaps the most remarkable feature of this warfare on Sunday was a duel between one French aviator and 2 Germans, whom he attacked in the region of War. There's been heavy fighting on the British front near Messines. An official report issued last night states that the Germans liberated a great quantity of gas and delivered an infantry attack upon the British trenches. The mass of the assailants were repulsed by British artillery fire, but at one point the Germans succeeded in entering the trenches. A battle which resulted in serious losses to both the Austro-Hungarians and the Russians, but which ultimately resulted in a decisive win for the Tsar's troops, has taken place on the Ivanka River north of Moravitz. There, after very heavy artillery preparations, the Austrians at dawn on Saturday launched an infantry assault with large forces. In the Lake Narcos region, the Germans on Saturday morning attacked very heavily the Russian positions. The assault was preceded by an artillery drum fire and was made in massed formation. The Germans succeeded in recapturing some trenches which they had previously lost. On Sunday, this action had diminished in activity, and endeavors of the Germans to follow up their initial successes were repulsed. A movement of the Russian troops in Armenia now to occupy the upper reaches of the Tigris is in progress. A Petrograd bulletin issued on Sunday says that at Diyarbakir, we repulsed an offensive by the Turkish advance guards. This means that since the last report, the Russians have made a distinctly speedy advance towards the Tigris and are now meeting the full shock of the reinforced Turkish army in this region. Sir John Maxwell expresses the hope that although much remains to be done that will take time, the backbone of the rebellion has been broken. The leaders of the rebellion in Dublin have sent out messages to the rebels in Galway, Clare, Wexford, and elsewhere, ordering them to surrender to the priests and to the Royal Irish Constabulary. General Smuts marches from victory to victory in East Africa. Colonel Mueller, a Swiss military observer, is reported as authority for the statement that a new German army of almost 1 million men is ready to take the field. Holy smokes. It is said to consist of the recruits of the 1916 class called up last fall and about 150,000 volunteers. This information ought not to be entirely discredited, but the numbers of Germany's new army are undoubtedly exaggerated. In chronicling another unsuccessful assault on the French positions west of the Meuse with enormous losses to the assailants, French observers note that the German attack has lost its punch. After 69 days of a struggle as tremendous as it is vain, we are told, the German effort cannot renew itself with the same intensity. Okay, we're up to number 8. There were no infantry actions. Yes, hold on, I'm going to grab my mouse thing here. In the region of Verdun, the Germans again violently bombarded the French positions west of the Meuse, where they were so disastrously checked during Sunday evening, and on the right bank of the river, the French and German guns were equally active. The French War Office in the Midnight Bulletin sums up the results of the month's combats in the air. The French battle planes were very successful, especially around Verdun. 31 German airplanes were brought down, 9 of them with the French lines. The other 22 fell either in flames or completely disabled within the German lines. During April, 6 French machines were defeated in air battles and fell within the German lines. The reason why the French machines are usually lost behind the German lines is that they make many more flights over enemy territory than the Germans do. The Irish rising is at an end. The rebels at Enniscorthy, who appear to have been the last organized force to give up the struggle, surrendered unconditionally yesterday. A few isolated groups are still at large, but there's no longer danger of a protracted resistance. The deluded Irish revolutionists are not the only victims of misplaced confidence in Germany. On the northwestern frontier of Egypt, some Bedouin and Turkish casements landed German arms and German gold with which to arm the Arabs for a revolt. There's been a good deal of fighting first and last in the region, but as in Dublin, the chief sufferers have been the peaceful people who wished only to be left alone. Famine now threatens the Arabs, an official report from Cairo says, and typhus has broken out. No medicines are available, and the Senussi authorities appear to have made no arrangements to cope with the epidemic. A small body of the enemy in occupation of the Harro oasis has terrorized the native population, robbing them of their food and personal belongings and resorting them to violent methods to obtain satisfaction of their demands. The Arabs will be glad to see the last of their deliverers. Paris reports that during the past 2 weeks, there have been frequent unimportant skirmishes between the Allies and German Bulgarian troops on the Greek frontier. But otherwise, the position is unchanged. Active operations on a large scale may occur any day, or at some places the armies are less than 3/4 of a mile apart. The sharp check administered by the Russians on the Ivanka to the Hungarian troops there is admitted in a Vienna official bulletin, which reports their withdrawal in face of attacks by superior Russian forces. The scene of the battle is to the north of Dubno in Volhynia. The Austrians have been sowing mines in the Mediterranean. The sinking of the battleship Russell there has been followed by the loss of 2 vessels, the minesweeper Nasturtium and the armed yacht Agusa, which were evidently trying to locate the enemy's mines and unexpectedly fouled some of them. The bulk of the crews were saved, but 6 men are missing from the Agusa and 7 from the Nasturtium. The fact that a retired Vice Admiral T.P. Walker was captain of the Agusa, probably his own yacht, indicates how keenly the new sport of submarine hunting and minesweeping appeals to the elderly Briton of aquatic bent. The Petrograd official report shows that the Russians are approaching the Tigris at 2 wildly separated points. In southern Armenia, the Cossacks are driving the Turks in toward Diyarbakir, their base on the upper part of the river, while in the direction of Baghdad, Petrograd states, we repulse towards the west an important enemy detachment capturing a portion of its artillery and munitions caissons. Whew, sorry, I'm so glad I'm recording this so my voice can be whatever later. The naval and I know I'm not the greatest narrator, I'm trying though. The naval and military situation of the Allies has never been so good as it is today, said Mr. Asquith yesterday in introducing the compulsory service bill. Great Britain and the overseas dominions by prodigious effort, both at home and throughout the empire, had obtained 5 million men for the army and navy. Taking Mr. Asquith's round figures of the number of men enlisted in the armies and naval forces of the empire, it would appear that the effective military strength must be in the vicinity of 4 million men. All right. Let's go. Still babbling about the numbers. The disposition to be made of the vast bodies of troops at the command of the War Office is carefully guarded. The assertion has been made several times of late that there are now 1.5 million of British soldiers in France, in Egypt, Mesopotamia, Greece, and other theaters of war. There cannot be more than 1 million. So there must still be in the United Kingdom 1.5 million men in training and engaged in coastal defense. It is difficult to see where Germany can obtain troops to face this movement when the appointed time for it arrives. Already her powers of offense are fast ebbing, as the recent advances at Verdun prove. For the first time in weeks, the Germans, profiting no doubt by the subsidence of the spring floods, attempted yesterday to capture the Belgian trenches east of the Yasser and north of Dixmude, or Dixmude, I think. In the first rush, which took the Belgians by surprise, they gained a footing in some advanced posts, but were immediately dislodged. Khalil Pasha, and this is why I brought up the barbarian thing earlier. Khalil Pasha, like how, okay, 1 minute they're all barbarians, and the next minute, Khalil Pasha, the commander of the Turkish army that captured Kut, seems to be a humane man as well as a good soldier. He has agreed to exchange General Townsend's sick and wounded for an equivalent number of Turkish and Mohammedan prisoners, and a hospital and other ships have been sent to the Tigris to Kut to begin the evacuation. Turkish reports indicate that lack of medical supplies for the sick and wounded was one of General Townsend's chief troubles. From just on a side note, from what I've been reading as well, they were the British, leftover British prisoners and whatnot, and Indian prisoners were treated very poorly. The Ottomans basically were like, you've caused us grief, we're going to cause you some. A Turkish report states that submarines operating in the Black Sea are making less absolute Russia's control there. 3 Russian steamers have been driven ashore, and one of them was sequentially destroyed by shell fire. And as far as I know, those are the, because I have to check again, but I don't know if the Ottomans had any subs before that. I think these are the 4 subs that were railed across after Bulgaria, I guess, linked up with them to Germany and whatnot, and were able to bring 4 subs across and pop them into the Black Sea. I'm pretty darn sure. 4 sailing vessels laden with provisions have also been sunk. Russia has made many good destroyers in the Black Sea, but they are probably being used to escort troop ships and harry the Turks retiring from Trebizond, and are not available to shepherd mercantile vessels. Hold on here. Berlin reports that bombing of Russian military installation by German naval airships in the Gulf of Riga. The Germans are trying to get at the bases of the Russian and British submarines that played havoc with their shipping in the Baltic last season, and are now getting ready for another spell of activity. A raid by 5 Zeppelins on the northeast coast of England and the southeast coast of Scotland last night is reported by Sir John French. Remember him? He got turfed after the Battle of Loos, roughly. The French at Verdun sped the parting guest. The Midnight Paris report says that late yesterday afternoon, in a brilliant assault, our troops captured German positions to the northwest of Morthom. Assuming that the Crown Prince has confessed defeat at Verdun, what is the probable course of events? Some British military writers are of the opinion that the Germans will remain on the defensive on the Western Front during the summer, and that the chief offensive effort will be made along the Dwina on the Eastern Front in the hope of penetrating to Petrograd and humbling Russia by the occupation of her capital. It will be remembered that in the spring of 1915, after the second fierce attack on Ypres, which corresponded to the recent attack at Verdun, although not so long sustained, the Germans transported most of their heavy guns to Galicia and Poland as soon as the ground was dry enough to permit their free movement along the roads, and drove the Russians out of both territories. The drive in Galicia was begun about this time last year, and physical conditions now lend themselves to a renewal of the struggle in the east. The effective use of the German fleet in a campaign against Petrograd is possible, and it is also almost inconceivable that Germany, at the crisis of the war, will let her ships lie, and we know, 4 days from now, the Battle of Jutland, in Kiel Bay, when they could cooperate in the movement for the capture of Petrograd. There's another program more likely to appeal to the German staff. To transport the bulk of Germany's striking force to the Dwina cannot be made a difficult matter when one considers the remarkable extent and efficiency of Prussia's state railways. But to bring that force back hurriedly were the British army in northern France to launch a great offensive would not be so easy. A week's delay in opposing a British advance with an adequate army might well prove fatal. If a British attack early this summer is more feared by the German general staff than a Russian advance, the program most likely to appeal to Berlin is the removal of the bulk of the German reserves, alike of guns and of men, to points opposite the British trenches, and their employment in an endeavor by local attacks to prevent a British concentration from a general advance. Only on the main east and west fronts are the opportunities for the working out of large strategic projects. There will be no Balkan adventure this year. Talk of an attack on Egypt is idle. If Turkey and Bulgaria are assailed by the Allies from Salonika, from the Salonika base, they will have to do the best they can with their own armies. Germany can provide munitions, but neither she nor Austria can no longer spare men in sufficient numbers to count. The Zeppelin raid on Tuesday night on the northeast coast of England and eastern coast, southern coast of Scotland, maybe, resulted in 36 casualties from the explosives of 100 bombs. German plotters are at work in Sweden attempting to rouse the hostility of the Swedes on the ground that Russia is erecting fortifications of what is alleged to be a permanent nature of the Åland Islands. This group commands the entrance to the Gulf of Bothnia, from the ports of which most of the iron ore laden vessels whose supplies are important to the German steel industry. British and Russian submarines last season interfered greatly with this traffic, depriving Swedish mine owners of a very lucrative business. A submarine base on the Åland Islands would practically destroy the ore trade altogether, for it would be unprofitable to haul the ore by rail to Stockholm or other harbors south of the Åland Islands and run the blockade thence to German ports. Italian and Austrian reports concur in placing the emphasis on the operations in the Trentino. The Italians are striving to get within striking distance of Trent. And on May 4th, the Italians do a feint attack in the South Carso in an attempt to try to get Svetozar Borevic von Bonia of Austria-Hungary to divert troops from Grizia, up north from Grizia down to South Carso. And we'll hopefully talk about that. The Austrian lines around Grizia have proved a very hard nut to crack, and conditions are such that Italy's numerical superiority is not of much value. And that's it. Actually, I can talk about it. Basically, it was a feint to try to get the troops up there. You know, I can pop that bit there, I guess there. And it was a feint to get the Austro-Hungarian troops to go down there. Breivich did ask Hotzendorf for reinforcements. He was denied and did not shift troops from Grizia to the South Car, so he just stuck it out. That's it. We'll see how that goes. I have no idea. Hopefully it went well. Bye. Oh yes, end the stream.